today we're going to do a little bit of bending that we haven't done before. This is, obviously it's a horseshoe, but it's a St. Croix forge, and you can see it's got a number 1 there. There's the 1. So the fact that it has no additional markings on it indicates that it's an ultra light. If you're interested in bending horseshoes, the place to start, no question, is going to be a St. Croix Forge Ultralight number 2. It's a little bit bigger. If you've done any kind of bending before, you probably are guessing that the extra size gives you a little bit of extra leverage. With horseshoes, it can get a little tricky because as they get thicker, they get tougher to bend as well, which is why sometimes people say don't get too caught up in thinking about bending the same type of horseshoe, St. Croix Forge Ultralight, in different sizes as a means for progression. Stick with one size and move from there. I'm still figuring out my size. I think I'm gonna end up being a number 1 shoe guy, but I don't know. This is Mr. Celery. He's a mascot for the Wilmington Blue Rocks minor league baseball team. So the thing that really kind of changed my life with bending horseshoes was getting a good set of leather pads. Now, just to jump ahead a little bit, we're going to be placing the horseshoe here. You're going to be wearing jeans because you're smarter than I am. I'm not, though. So we're going to want to place it like right behind the quad where we can get a good look at it. And we're going to want to take a grip like this. So we want our wraps to go in the direction of our fingers. That means they're both going to go in the same orientation. So for example, right now, I'm looking at this, I'm wrapping my leather pad over, and you can see the end of the pad is going to come out going the same direction as my fingers are going here. So if you can rev it like a motorcycle engine, that's the right direction. It'll also tighten the wrap up for you a little bit. And I'm just going to throw a rubber band on here because I'm trash, and you are too, and you should definitely use rubber bands. So for our second wrap, same direction, because we're going to be taking a grip where both of our fingers are pointed in the same direction, at least at the beginning of the shoe. Now, with shoes like this, it doesn't matter too much which direction the markings are going in. So I like to have the markings facing up toward me. That doesn't start to become a problem until you start getting shoes with a few extra accoutrements. Let me see if I've got one here. Yeah. So this one, for example, you can see has some side clips here. I don't even know if that's the technical term for them. This is, I don't have it marked out, but you can see this is a shoe that, to use the technical term, is well beyond me. So, let's get rid of that. Let's take a shoe that I know I can bend. And as usual, don't forget to chalk up. This is crucial. Most people are not going to use any kind of padding on the kink. So the key with the kink here is you can kind of think of horseshoe bending as having 2 mandatory phases and a 3rd optional that I'm not going to worry too much about right now. But the purpose of the kink is just to separate the ends of the shoe from each other. So I'm getting into a power position for myself. I'm placing the shoe right here on the back of my quad, and I'm going to push down with my right arm like I'm locking out, and then I'm just going to rotate my body toward the left. So I'm trying to generate downward force here and rotational force to open the shoe. You're not pushing up and down, you're rotating it open. So here we go. You can see there's a little bit there. And you want to get this as far as you can in this range. One little trick that I learned, I forget who pointed this out to me. I think it was in the Horseshoe Bender's Top 20 list. on the board. You want to keep the leg of the shoe in contact with your leg as much as possible, so that minimizes your wasted force. So you don't want to have it kind of balanced out here trying to push and pull at the same time. The purpose of my left hand, my anchor hand, is just to hold the shoe as close as possible to my thigh so that I can do all the work with my driver hand, which is my right arm. And we got it a little further open there. But that's not done yet. Now, if you are a real badass, you can try to finish the remainder without padding, which I'll be honest, I usually do. But today, just not feeling it. So I'm just gonna grab my little soft belt here, and I'm gonna put it up on my thigh. And here is kind of where you really need to shift what you're looking at. Sometimes people even take the left-handed wrap and spin it around. So I'm unwinding it. I'm gonna flip it over, because now you can see I've changed the orientation of my hand. So now I've got the wrap going in the same direction as my fingers again. And here, shrug up, try to recruit as much as possible from your upper back, and just push down. And you'll get some movement at the beginning, but once you start to lose that movement, keep the same trick in mind. Keep as much of your anchor leg of the shoe as possible in contact with your leg to get the leverage that you can. And I think I might be able to push that just a little further. This one I don't think is quite done yet, but we'll measure that in a minute. Okay. Now, how do we measure if it's done? It's got to be past 180. So this one is not, because both of the shoe's legs are touching the table. So we got to go a little further on this. And you got a couple of options here. You can keep pushing like this. You can use a slightly better leg pad if you have one handy. I'm just gonna grab an elbow sleeve, just because I got some bruises here and I'm trying not to work too far beyond them, right? Okay, we might be done there, and hopefully we'll be able to show there. And you can just kind of barely see, when I push down on this end of the shoe loses contact with the table. I'm gonna see if I can push that a little further. Just wanna throw one little extra trick at you here. You don't see this one done very frequently, but this can be a way to finish a shoe if you just wanna get it S-ed. Once again, go to your hamstrings, try to get the end of the horseshoe pressed against your ham, and then I like to get my two middle fingers just on either side of the twist here, and heels together, and pull. And now you can see for sure this one is finished.